You are watching Nimasa this week, the authorized voice for the Nigerian maritime sector. My name is Iretiola Doyle, and you are welcome. Now this week, as usual, we will be bringing you another interesting topic related to the maritime sector. It promises to be enlightening and stimulating.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for
in continuation of its tradition of recognizing Nigerians of excellence in various areas of life, the Business Hallmark newspaper earlier this week honored 10 different individuals and brands in an elaborate ceremony in Lagos, southwest of Nigeria. The occasion, which was tagged Hallmark Nigerians of the Year 2012 Awards, could be described as a convergence of some of the biggest names in Nigeria's corporate and public sectors. The 8 categories of awards included Governor of the Year, which went to Dr. Olusegun Mimiko of Ondo State, as represented by the Secretary to the State Government. Man of the Year conferred on the former Group Managing Director of the United Bank for Africa UBA, Tony Elumelu. Minister of the Year and Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. Lawmaker of the Year, which was conferred on Senator Domingo Bende, who represented the North in the National Assembly, and Banker of the Year, which went to Dr. Alex Oti, Group Managing Director of Diamond Bank. The rest of the awards were made up of Businessman of the Year bestowed on Frontline Transporter, Dr. Chidi Anyebu, the Brand of the Year award, which was shared by MTN and First Bank, as well as a similar joint conferment of the Public Officer of the Year award on the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Osita Chidoka, and the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Ziakede Patrick Akpobolokemi. According to the organizers, Mr. Akpobolokemi's recognition was for his unwavering resolve, as well as steps he has taken so far to stamp out violence and criminality on Nigerian waterways. For the Nimasa community particularly, turning out as impressively as they did was the least they could do to honor their hardworking Director General, whose ability to build a winning team in the first place set the tone for this award. They were all there, from the executive directors of the agency to the deputy directors and heads of department, assistant directors and other functionaries of the Maritime Agency. In his opening remarks, Chairman of the Business Hallmark Public Policy Forum and former Nigerian Ambassador to the United States, Israel and Cyprus, His Excellency Professor George Obiozo, have described the Nimasa DG as a public officer with drive and clarity of purpose. Professor Obiozo said that without these qualities, it would have been near impossible for Mr. Akpobolokemi to achieve so much within a short period of 2 years since assumption of office, adding that only successful individuals run successful enterprises. As Mr. Akpobolokemi mounted the podium for the award presentation, the citation that followed sought to encapsulate the humble beginnings of a man destined from the word go to be a veritable change agent in his generation.
When he was named Director General of Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa by the federal government in 2010, not a few tongues were, perhaps, odious criticisms. The truth was that Akpobolokemi was an unknown quantity. But Mr. Chairman, sir, I am pleased to inform you that about 2 years after that people appointment, he served the Business Academy, brilliant scholar, winner of the Principal Prize in West African Schools certificate, as Chief Manager of Men and Resources at a new Ghana Technogram, has delivered on his mandate. Nimasa is a very beautiful national parastatal. With Nigeria's immense coastal endowments and heavy maritime activities, maritime administration and security occupy a central position in the metrics of national development. As a matter of fact, maritime security has become one of the most challenging issues in the world today. When Akpobolokemi was tasked to run this important agency, he had no illusions about the challenges of the office. He has pursued his programs with vigor, dynamism, and commitment.
In a short speech before the presentation of the award, Chairman of the occasion and former Governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, extolled the leadership qualities of Ziakede Patrick Akpobolokemi.
Unknown to most of us in this hall are the responsibilities of the Nimasa. It's one of those shadowy organizations that we hear about, but know very little about. In reading the citation of Patrick, and I'm calling him Patrick because I don't want to go into the last names. I can't do this evening, right? In going into the citation of Patrick, we've had a rare glimpse of what Nimasa is all about. The forefront of fighting battles of the maritime shores of our country in relation to other countries, the fight of terrorism and all sorts of things, and the challenges. One thing I want to say about Patrick, though, he may go down in history as the longest serving Director General of Nimasa. And that in itself is noteworthy because the casualty rate in that organization is very high due to the responsibilities that they bear. So Patrick, alongside with all of us, I congratulate you. And I hope that your reign shall be long. Because it's not the battle for the weak. It's not the battle for the feeble, it is the battle for the strong. Tonight, for friends, for colleagues, and indeed the whole that media are testifying to the fact that you are the strong. Welcome.
Flanked by the 3 executive directors of Nimasa, as well as several other dignitaries, including former Governor Duke, the Nimasa DG received the award for the Hallmark Public Officer of the Year 2012 from Senator Florence Itagiwa.
On behalf of all my representatives, we are supposed to mention the aspects of your humanitarian service. Thank you so much for the support you give to the children of us.
Afterwards, the Nimasa DG opened up on what he thinks this award represents to him as a person and in his capacity as the head of the apex regulatory authority in the maritime sector.
It's a source for further inspiration to work harder to deliver on the core mandates of Nimasa. What they count as achievements today that has merited this award, we take them as routine activities. The foundations that are laid 2012 will begin to materialize in 2013, 14, 15, 16. So we are happy, at least people are encouraging us to put in more efforts so that Nigerians can smile at the end of the day. We are not publicity-seeking agency. We are asked to ensure that maritime safety issues are kept in the front burner. We are mandated to ensure that security is guaranteed for the shipping industry. We are mandated to ensure that the right kind of marine environment is guaranteed. So we do our things with passion. We pursue our mandates with passion. So our award is a former, awards of this kind is a further encouragement for us to put in additional efforts so that the core mandate of the agency can be achieved.
Executive Director for Finance and Administration Haruna Baba Jauro also spoke on the significance of the award to the entire Nimasa community.
Well, it represents reward for action. It represents more grease to our elbows towards this fight against crime on the seas. It represents the promotion of the whole agency. It represents bringing us to light. It represents encouragement and strengthening to us so that we can pursue this mandate that the government gave us on and on again and in good faith. So actually we see it as a step in the right direction. We see it as a good motivation. And the person of the DG, truly, what he said about him is not even enough. We that are there, that are working with him, have seen it And we know that actually that which the government desires of us will really come to be by God's grace.
His counterpart in charge of maritime safety and shipping development, Captain Ezekiel Bala Agaba, bared his mind on how this accomplishment could help Nimasa to improve on its overall performance in the outgone year, especially in attracting foreign direct investment.
If the security of the maritime domain is guaranteed, there are more economy will pick up, there are more vessels coming, people will engage in trading, and that will bring great job opportunities for the young guys. So those are the type of things we are trying to focus on in 2013.
Barrister Callistus Nwabeze Obi, who is the Executive Director for Maritime Labour and Cabotage Services, also paid glowing tributes to the Director General for his ability to generate and sustain the tempo necessary for driving the competing priorities of the agency. In addition, Barrister Obi maintained that the agency's campaign against piracy could help to improve the growth of small businesses on Nigerian waterways.
Well, it's a recognition very well deserved. The DG is the general, he's leading the entire forces of Nimasa, so we feel happy. It's something that we knew will definitely happen, because the passion with which we do the job, with him at the center of it, as the focus, is actually why the Hallmark people have deemed it fit to give him the honor that he richly deserves. Yeah, without mincing words, a whole lot of our economic activity is centered in the waterways, and the government is focusing on that area as a means of generating jobs. So what we're doing is to leverage on the position of government to create an enabling environment where people can feel free to do businesses, and if you don't drive a sector that is as critical, as crucial as the maritime sector, you will really be negatively impacting on the economy. So we see this initiative as ably directed by our DG as, in fact, an integral part, a core area of the transformation agenda of the president. So we are working in tandem with the agenda of government.
In her own submission, Head of the Public Relations Unit at Nimasa, Haja Lami Tumaka, reflected on the recognition bestowed on the DG and concluded that the agency could not afford to rest on its oars.
Let me put it this way. I have always said, if only every chief executive, if only every governor will take one agenda item and see it to its logical conclusion, that chief executive, that governor would have left a lasting legacy. This DG has come, he has identified in the myriad of issues, mandates that we have, he has chosen and identified with the struggle, with the war, with the battle against pirates. And this is a way of saying kudos Nimasa, kudos DG Nimasa, bravo, continue with the fight, continue with the struggle. We're with you all the way.
The relevance of the Nigerian maritime sector to the general well-being of our national economy cannot be overemphasized. And that is why on this show we make it a point of duty to highlight key aspects of this industry to you, our discerning viewers. Our field correspondent, Charles Ohauku, has once more dug into another aspect concerning the maritime trade.
As the year 2012 wound to a close, members of staff of the Public Relations Unit of Nimasa had gone through the first in a series of training workshops designed to bring them up to date with practices and methods for a more effective representation of the agency to the general public. It was an exercise carried out under an atmosphere of conviviality and one at the end of which was declared hugely successful. This was for its sheer timeliness and potential, especially at a period that Nimasa had initiated and was carrying on critical partnerships with key stakeholders in the maritime sector. The second phase of that exercise kicked in last weekend in Lagos, where members of the unit were put through a blueprint for an effective communication plan. This, according to the resource person and renowned public relations consultant Nkechi Ale Balogun, was necessary for defining the nature of relationships among interests within Nimasa, as well as between the agency and its members of staff. According to her, clearly defined working relationships are the greatest catalyst for achieving the set objectives of any organization.
Because of the nature of our industry, our major focus will be on the print media. Our messages should be targeted, controlled, and calibrated for effect. But what kind of messages should we have? Our messages, we can talk of currencies, highlight CSR, community engagement activities, milestones, Yeah, sometimes we can talk about social things, especially if it impacts on the society. It is important to also have your calendar, media calendar. All what media calendar says is like a media plan. You have your activity and the months and all the things you want to do. Something as small as this. Smaller.
Like just a memorabilia. That's it. And then, for this our book.
Lively exchanges dominated proceedings as the participants volunteered ideas and methods which in their estimation could constitute a functional communication model for a busy and complex organization like Nimasa. Communications consultant Dr. Ken Egbars took time out to address the participants in this training workshop on the importance of emphasizing the character of an organization over its appearance in the everyday practice of public relations.
Most companies get into CSR, and I see most of them getting stuck in philanthropy. You should think about philanthropy. That philanthropy is good, but I, as a person, might choose to do philanthropy, but it may not be good for a company. Because if you get into that, the thing is that sometimes it becomes a trap, because you cannot, just like a very rich man among very poor people, the needs keep coming to you, and you can never exhaust it. But what CSR will do for you, having the proper strategy, is that you create systems that are sustainable. Now, if you follow the language of CSR, the evolution of the language, you see, some people call it CSR, corporate social investment, some people call it corporate social responsibility, some people call it all sorts of things. But the movement now is more like towards CSR, what they call CSR 2.0. CSR 2.0, in a way, it doesn't change CSR from CSR, but it just makes companies to want to go deeper into it. And by bringing the word sustainability into it, corporate sustainability and responsibility, CSR.
Mrs. Ale Balogun here explains the connection between this session and the workshop that held in the fourth quarter of 2012.
What I'm saying to them differently, actually, is not so different from what we said before. It's a continuation of what we did last time. What we're trying to do in the Public Relations Department, through the initiative of the head of department, is that we're trying to structure the activities of the department. They are trying to come up with policies that will outlive even the department, so that even if they are not there, the organization will have something to refer to. I think in a nutshell, that is what they're doing. Today, globalization is calling for best practices. There are ways, and then there's social media, so many things are happening. And so there is need for us to get involved with new approaches, new strategies, and new ideas, so that new thinking, new thoughts, so that we are able to align our vision in such a way that we can compare with global practice. The communication plan will enable the department to increase the level of understanding of its publics for what they do. All right, because like I said, it's going to structure the way they do things, and it's even going to make them be more proactive in the things they do. So they are not doing things haphazardly. They now have a structure. They now have something to fall back on, and they also have something to present to management that this is who we are,
And this is how we want to approach it. That way, they become very effective in their relationship with the public.
Head of the Public Relations Unit of Nimasa, Hadia Lami Tumaka, reiterates the importance of the training workshop to members of the staff of her unit.
This is born out of the need, like the faculty said, to structure what the PR unit of Nimasa is all about. Like she said, there is this awareness, this realization, that we're operating in a haphazard manner, So we decided this year that this is 2013, we should have policies that would guide our operations. And these policies, like we've been taught, all of them must be derived from the vision of Nimasa, to put like a working manual in place, which, like we all know, whether we are there today, the crop of staff that are in the unit today, whether we're there or not, this manual, these policies would outlive us and be in auto drive for whoever or the people that take over from us.
Some members of the PR unit of Nimasa here expressed their views on the benefits of the training workshop.
In recent times, we've understood the need to continue to build capacity to do our jobs better. And if you're concerned about the way you had done your job in the past and the way you would like to do it much more, efficiently, you would continue to adopt and assimilate knowledge. You would continue to interact with professionals from different shades. That's why we have also initiated this, and as you can see, some of us have met new people today. Actually, we had new resource persons, and we have picked up new skills. We have, and as we resume back at work, we expect to communicate better. We will be able to design tailor-cut programs, and at the end of the day, we would understand ourselves better in the industry.
Our vision in the agency is to become a major maritime nation, to make Nigeria a major maritime nation by the year 2020 and beyond. And as you can see, we are just 7 years from this vision, and we need to re-strategize if we are to meet that target. Be that as it may, when we start this policy, we have strategies put in place where we can evaluate, monitor and evaluate the sectors. For CSR, for instance, so we evaluate how sustainable and responsible our strategy would be over the short, the medium and the long term. For our communication policy with the media, our relationship with the media, for instance, we will see how responsive and responsible the media will be to us and vice versa, so that in the end we communicate to our audience, to Nigerians, the exact essence, the exact purpose for which Nimasa has been created, was established by an act in 2007, and how we intend to turn around things in Nimasa, so that before very long, in 2020, as we said, and beyond that, Nigeria will be a major maritime hub. In my case, I say a maritime hub, at least in the Gulf of Guinea.
It's now time for the Maritime Cargo Report, which is simply a breakdown of cargoing ships expected to berth in ports within the Lagos Pilotage District this week. As always, the Maritime Cargo Report is brought to you courtesy of the Shipping Development Department of Nimasa.
There are only 5 motor vessels awaiting berth at the Lagos Pilotage District this week. 3 out of these are laden with rice, while there is 1 vessel each carrying bulk wheat and bulk sugar. For liquid consignment, there are 11 motor tanker vessels currently awaiting berth at the Lagos Pilotage District. 7 out of this number are conveying premium motor spirit, PMS or petrol. 2 vessels each are laden with jet A1 or aviation fuel and automotive gas oil, AGO or diesel.
And so we come to the end of this week's edition. I hope we kept you informed and educated. Now, do not forget, this is an interactive show. We love to hear from you. All you need to do is send your comments or emails to the email address currently showing on your screen. Now, I'm going to be here, same time, same station next week. Till then, I'm wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.